YouTube, what is up? Man, we got a super quick session tonight, so I might just have like an hour, if that. So it's getting dark a lot earlier now, man, which, you know, I hate to see that because, you know, I like them long summer hot days, but for fishing, that means that we're getting into that transition going into the fall fishing, which can be some really good fishing, man. I talked about it in my last video, if you check it out, where, you know, fishing can be tough year round. Spring, fall, summer, doesn't matter. But like I mentioned in that video, there are favorable times to go that can be better than others. In the fall, man, you can have some really good days because the bass, they can sense that winter's coming, right? And so they want to feed up, and so that's exactly what they do, man. They start filling their bellies. And if you live on, you know, shad lakes where there's a bunch of shad and bayfish, I think that's like their primary target they focus on. But, you know, they're just trying to fill their bellies, man. So, you know, I think anything you throw, man, bluegill stuff, crawfish, you know, just throw anything at them. And if you catch them at the right time when they're feeding, man, you can really put a beat down on the fish, and it's a lot of fun. So we're kind of in that transition period right now to where I'd say we're like, yeah, we're getting into that early fall time, man. It's almost October. And so, you know, pretty stoked for that because every year now for the last, you know, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, me, my brothers, and our buddy, we go out to this really awesome lake and we fall fish for like 3 or 4 days, man. So that's coming up soon, man. I'm pretty stoked for that. And yeah, but tonight, man, short session. Just got a few rods tonight, and I brought one tackle box, nothing crazy. Trying to get on a topwater bite, and last video I brought out my BFS combo, and I didn't catch anything on it last video, but tonight I'm bringing it with me, and I'll talk about how I'm rigged up on it once we get on the water. But I really want to run into some fish on that BFS setup, man. So pretty stoked for that, man. So anyways, yeah, just gonna be short and sweet tonight, man, but hopefully we can catch a couple. All right, man, so like I mentioned, only got a few setups today. You know, it took me forever to like not bring so much crap. Like I would have like an hour to fish and I would bring like 6 combos, like a full backpack. Like it was just ridiculous for bank fishing. And especially those short sessions, man. If you got, you know, 2-3 hours, then all right, maybe bring a couple more, but I don't know. I just like would do that, and it would just be ridiculous every time, and I still would do it. But I finally kind of just wised up, I guess, and packing light today. I got this little BFS Texas rig. Let's see if I can get over there. That was like the worst hook set of all time. You know what? We're not going to edit that out. This is real life fishing out here, missing stuff, man. But no, so this BFS setup, man, I've talked a little bit about it in my last video. I mentioned it, and I haven't had this thing super long, and I'm still just not sure what to think about it. So I've got it on a 6.6 rod, which for fishing something on the bottom, you know, using this little bitty creature bait, this little Z-Man, it's like a 2.5-inch bait. I'm not really used to having this short of a rod when I'm setting the hook on a Texas rig. Here we go. There we go. Gosh. All right. I'm just missing this fish. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, 6.6 is not very long. Not what I'm used to. Usually my regular size jig rod, Texas rig rod, 7'2". So the 6.6, man, I feel like it's not going to give me tons of leverage on a medium to far cast. And you know, the fish might not have the bait in their mouth too. Like it could be a really small little, it could be a bluegill, or they might not be getting it all the way because, or I just am not used to this setup, which I'm not. So either way, I just know I'm missing fish. But yeah, 6.6, man, it just feels so short because, you know, that's a pretty lengthy little cast over there. And you know, obviously the longer the rod is, the quicker you're gonna get to that hook when you go to set, right? And so, yeah, I don't know, we just gotta feel this thing out and maybe go through some trial and error. But I don't know, like I said, I'm kind of torn on the whole BFS thing, to be honest. It's all right, so there I had to, it's a beefy fish, man. Pretty fish, man. Look how dark that thing is on the back. Yeah, so the difference there was I just really had to let him get that bait, and then kind of had to reel down into him, and I don't know, just be like a lot more focused or mindful in setting the hook, because like I said, you lose a lot of, man, I really like the darker fish, man. I just think they look so cool. Thanks, buddy. It's just different, man. I'll say that. It's different setting the hook on a shorter rod. And, you know, granted, this is a, you know, I have a small little finesse hook on this thing. It's a 1/0 extra wide gap, and I got a 1/16 ounce sinker, 7-pound fluorocarbon. And yeah, this is a light action rod. So it's just different, man. It's going to be a whole different thing to get used to. But yeah, definitely glad to make the adjustment there and get that one. Getting bit again, man. They're all over this. This is like 4 casts in a, he didn't seem to want to take it there, but yeah, like 4 casts in a row over here. Excuse me. And there's a lot more rods in the market now for BFS, and I see a lot of guys that do use the 7-foot plus rods for doing Texas rigs. And I can't remember the exact name of this it's their version of their little creature bait, their beaver style bait for the Z-Man, and just looks so darn real. And the drag is definitely something that I'll have to get used to find that sweet spot on getting a good hook set. But at the same time, you know, you're not pounding this hook set home. You know, I got 7-pound fluorocarbon on this thing. So, but yeah, I was saying as I caught that fish a minute ago that I'm not sure what to think about the BFS, man. I think it's really cool. I like I get the concept of it. You know, there's plenty of guys that are all about it, and then there's guys that have tried it and it's just, you know, not for them. I do see some guys say that basically everything you throw on a BFS, you can throw on a spinning rod, right? And so if you don't mind using your spinning rod, you like a spinning rod, then, you know, maybe this wouldn't be so appealing. But that's the thing, is I do really like my spinning rods, but I don't know, this just was cool to me when I first started watching videos about it. And, you know, I will say the one thing about the baitcaster versus spinning rod is I'm in the camp of, you know, I think you can be a little bit more accurate with the baitcaster and really put those baits on a dime. And so, you know, if you're trying to fish in tight spots, you're trying to put that thing, you know, right behind a laydown or a piece of whatever in the water, you know, the baitcaster is, I think, going to be a little bit more accurate for that. And so I think that might be a slight advantage, but again, it just depends on what you're throwing. But here in this instance, you know, doing this little Texas rig, you know, not necessarily just fishing open water. This is, for me, it's going to be a lot of target casting, especially when I'm in my boat. Maybe not so much on the bank, but so yeah, I don't know, man. if any of you guys out there watch this video and you have experience and thoughts on BFS, I'd love to hear them, man, because like I said, it's just something that's kind of really taken off here in the States. From what I understand, it's been popular in Japan for a while, and then it's kind of made its way over here. So it's you know, more and more information and videos are, you know, being made about it. But yeah, just kind of see where it goes. I'm not really 100% sold on it yet. I'm kind of just playing with it. So the, you know, budget combo right here is about as budget as you can get, man. So these Magic L rods, you can get them on Amazon for like 30 to like 50 bucks, man, and they get really good reviews. And I gotta say, I do like this rod, man, to be 30 or 40 bucks. And then this is the classic Cast King Zephyr in the BFS world. So a lot of people start out with this reel. I want to say it's like 70 bucks, but on the BFS end, that's actually really cheap. So one thing you'll find is that if you look, because a lot of companies now are making their own BFS reels, and they're pretty pricey, man, like coming out the gate like $200 and $300. So this Zephyr can get you, oh, missed another one. This Zephyr can really get your foot in the door though for about as cheap as you can get, and it's been a pretty good reel, man. Cast King, I think that they've really made a pretty good name for themselves in the fishing world, with pretty, you know, pretty quality, inexpensive products. But yeah, that's quite a long ramble about BFS, man. So I'm gonna lay this down. Actually, had some good, had some bad there, and I'm gonna pick up this top water to end out the night. Hey, one more cast turned into a few more casts. You know how that goes, but picked up that BFS again, man, and set the hook on one. All right, so this is a little part 2 to the BFS adventure. So this is a different day, same video. I just wasn't satisfied, man, with all those fish I was missing. Now I understand that on a BFS though, that especially when you're using like really small lures like that, like Ned rig type stuff, you know, you're gonna get some small fish nipping at it. You know, that's definitely gonna be a thing. But I had that lure Texas rigged, and I know that some guys do Texas rig on a BFS, but I think a lot of that comes down to your rod. And I have 2 different rods that I could play with, but I think I'm gonna try and stick with the one I was using, which is a 6.6 light. And yeah, man, I think it's that Handing L magic rod that I got off Amazon that got pretty good reviews. But tonight I'm gonna go back out here with a little bit different of an approach. I think I'm gonna try on this setup, at least with this rod for the BFS, I'm gonna try to throw open hooks like Ned rigs and little 1/10, 1/15 ounce Ned hooks. And I think that that's just gonna make the hookup better. I think with the Texas rig, I think it just wasn't gonna work, because you know, when you do a Texas rig, man, you have to set that, when you set the hook, that hook's gotta travel through some plastic, and it's just a lot different than using an exposed hook. So yeah, man, tonight gonna go back out here and I'm gonna dabble with that a little bit. I got an open hook on. It might be, you know, a little less snaggy in the grass, but you know, that's just part of it with, you know, using the open hooks like that. But also got another setup that I want to test out tonight, because I got a pretty big fishing trip coming up. It's the one that we do every single year in the fall, and so I'm pretty stoked for that, man. We go out to a really good lake for about 3 days, and it's just a blast. So looking forward to that, kind of getting prepped for it. But anyways, enough rambling, man. Let's get back out here tonight and hopefully do a little bit better with that BFS. Yes, here we are, man. I'm just curious to see how this could go. But man, like I said though, this is not gonna play nice in the grass, and this is grassy out here, so I could be forcing the issue, to be completely honest. Yeah, this may just not be the right time and the right place to do this. So I'm definitely gonna have to do it out deeper for sure to get away from this grass line. Well, just had a little nibble, but again, I'm keeping an open mind too that some of these fish could be bluegill, and the setup that I have is definitely a little too big for most bluegill. All right, there we go. which was a little bass. Get up here, boy. Awesome. So that didn't take long to hook up. Or the other day, I remember it did take me a few to hook up. So yeah, man. I think that this is probably gonna be what I end up doing with this setup. And man, I'm using the same little creature bait as the other night. The things, I got one of the appendages ripped off, but I don't really think that matters. So but yeah, good deal, man. Just hooked up nice and good. And you know, the real test will be on a, oh, there we go again. All right, a little bit nicer. Yeah, dude, I mean, they're just all over this little TRD, this bugs. Look at that, right in the roof of the mouth. Just, he wasn't going anywhere. And that's what I wanted to see, man. I just was not getting that the other night with the Texas rig, man. So, good deal. Man, it's getting dark really quick now. Getting to that time of year. About to wrap it up, do a little outro, but yeah, man, I only caught a couple fish unless I catch one here last few minutes before I leave. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to see, man. I had 2 hookups. One of them was right in the roof of the mouth. And yeah, so for the foreseeable future, at least for this BFS setup, man, I think I'm gonna have to go Ned rig, open hook. And then I'm also gonna throw some treble hook stuff, some like micro crankbaits and jerk baits on this thing, which I didn't bring those out here because it's just way too grassy in this pond. But when I got here on the bigger lake here in a couple weeks, man, I'm really gonna try to fish all of that on the BFS. So yeah, I really do think this could have potential to really have a place to really jump in my rotation, man. It's just fun. You know, you hear guys talk about how much fun it is just catching one on a finesse style bait caster. Like I said, I got 7-pound line. It's got the click drag on here, which is pretty cool. Hey, you know how one more cast goes, man. How about one more sign off fish? Best fish of the night, pretty chunky. Again, right in the roof of the mouth.